Okay, I'm trying this again. So I'm gonna wait. Hopefully you all can hear me. I'm gonna turn my mic on again. Okay, so let me share this. This to see. I can hear you now. Okay. Okay, you guys can hear me. Okay, good. Thank you. Like I said, I am dealing with this YouTube stuff. Oh, wonderful. Okay, good. So hopefully people will come in. Okay, so I want to start over. I'm most likely gonna delete the other video. So again, like I said, I am new to this live thing, so thank you, appreciate your patience, all that stuff. I'm following the chat, so if you can't see or hear me, just let me know. I don't know what's going on. Anyway, so as I said before, hello, welcome to my virtual couch. Happy Saturday to you all. So we're gonna talk about the Carlee Russel verdict, okay? As you all know, I've been following this case from the very beginning, so I wanted to close it out with a live, and then we're gonna talk about other shenanigans that's going on in the world, okay? So first, hello, how are y'all? So I'm gonna read this from CNN, and it says that Carlee Russel was found guilty, and the judge has recommended that she's gonna be sentenced to a year in jail and $18K in restitution. So what do you all think? And for those who don't remember, I mean, this has been making the news. I mean, if you don't know the Carlee Russel case, you might be living under a rock. But either way, the Carlee Russel case, so she was an Alabama woman. If you all remember, she called the police department and basically said that there was a toddler walking down the highway, okay? Later on, she showed up at her mama's house barefoot, saying that she was kidnapped or whatever, okay? It was a hoax. And basically, she caused a ruckus in the community. You know, people spent lots of resources searching for her. Also, there was a woman, I forgot her name. I should look her name up. There was a woman who had lost her daughter who was actually leading the search, okay? So, let me see. Woman who lost daughter led Carlee Russell search. And basically, it was a false report. You know, there were lots of people that were spending resources, and meanwhile, it was a hoax. Okay. Oh, Angela Harris is her name. So Angela Harris was whose daughter Anaya Blanchard, 19, was brutally murdered in 2019. So she led the search, and basically, it was a hoax. Okay. So Carlee Russell did not even, and I think it was she had a mental illness. A lot of people might disagree with me, but I think it was a mental illness. Police department spent lots of resources, just taxpayers' dollars, and it was fake, right? So basically, they say that she's sentenced to spend a year in jail and pay nearly $18,000 in restitution. So what do you guys think? Do you guys think that the verdict was fair? Keep in mind, she also pled not guilty. And I kind of want to know why. Like, I want to know why she pled not guilty, because her lawyers, released a statement basically admitting guilt, saying that it was a hoax. So I think it's interesting that it didn't go to trial. I personally wish that it would have gone to trial, because I want to know why this happened. Again, I think it was a mental illness. Sometimes seeking attention can be a form of mental illness, right? So I want to know why, but we may never fully know why if it doesn't go to trial, right? So I don't know why she pled not guilty. Your lawyer released a statement saying that you did it and it was a hoax, right? So I go back and forth on this Carlee Russell verdict a lot. Okay, so it says, shouldn't she be in an institution seeking help if she has a mental illness? What will jail time do for her? Right, exactly. I feel like, I do feel like there's a mental illness, and I think that if I think if they went, and maybe that's why she's pleading guilty. We don't know. Maybe she's pleading guilty because it's going to come out that, hey, I'm pleading guilty because I'm dealing with a mental illness, right? So yeah, Cordelia, right. Maybe she's pleading not guilty because of mental illness. Here is my issue. I go back and forth about this Carlee Russel case because I feel like there's no humility with the family. If you remember when the mom did the interview, the mom said with such confidence that she felt like something happened to her daughter and that her daughter has been through it, right? So now your daughter comes home or whatever, you find out that it's a hoax. There's no humility. Like, so I was on the shade room and I saw the family leaving the courthouse and the mom, was walking with such like, even Carlee walking with like their head up, held high, just kind of like, yeah, I did it. So what, right? She looks great. I mean, she's put together the whole nine, wonderful. But I feel like there's no humility with the family, especially after we all know it's a hoax. If you go in the shade room, there's the mom tried to grab the reporter's camera or something like that, Anyway, so I really want to know why she pled not guilty, but it just seems as though that I think when her lawyers released an apology, I think that the apology should have came from her, right? You had the community in an uproar, basically, and you wasted lots of people's money, and you had people. I hope this doesn't mess up my volume. And you had people in fear, right? You had people in fear thinking like, is there, as a serial kidnapper on the loose, right? Like you had a lot of people in fear. So at least just for that part, just for creating fear in your community, I think she should have like humbled herself. So yes, I do. And I also do feel like this has impacted black women because already we don't get paid attention to, so when something happens, we don't, people don't really take missing black women seriously. So the fact that with this case, a lot of attention was paid to this case, and then for it to turn out to be a hoax, it's very, very disturbing. So I do feel like she should, maybe not an institution, but perhaps, maybe, we don't know. Maybe she's seeing a therapist. Maybe she's getting some kind of psychiatric care. We don't know, right? Because the lawyers haven't said anything. Now, they said that they're appealing the verdict. Okay, that's fine. But I do think I think the public needs more. You know what I mean? I think they need more than just a generic statement from the lawyer saying, oh, yeah, it was a hoax, and then plead not guilty, and then just like, whatever, right? Even in her mugshot. Did you guys see her mugshot, right? Even in her mugshot, it was like, she was smiling in the mugshot, right? And I even remember I posted in my Instagram stories, does this look like somebody that is mentally well, just smiling in the mugshot, right? It's almost like, yeah, I did it, so what? So I feel, I go back and forth about this case because on one hand, and people were commenting saying, Black women are never going to believe again, X, Y, Z. And I don't think that that's the case. I think sometimes as Black people, we also need to do for our community as well, and push the national stories because, look, Carlee Russel or no Carlee Russel, unfortunately, Black children, Black women are going to be missing every day, right? So I don't think that should stop us still taking every case seriously. Did this, cause damage? Yeah, I think it did, but I don't think it caused it to the point where, we have to just say, from now on, we're not gonna believe anybody that comes out. I'm struggling with the jail time sentence. And here's why I'm struggling with the jail time sentence, because I do feel like I'm not a lawyer or anything, right? That's what the YouTube lawyers are for. But I do feel like, well, first of all, even if she does get the year jail, right? If they appeal it and then they don't win, I don't feel like she's gonna do a whole year. Honestly, I feel like 4 or 5 months, they're gonna find a reason to get her out. But because it's also her first offense, and yes, keep in mind, this is not a felony. These are 2 misdemeanors, right? So I feel like because it's her first offense, no, I don't think she should get a slap on the wrist. Like someone has said to me, so because you feel like she has a mental illness that she can't be held accountable. I'm like, no, I don't think so. I think her having, to me, again, I have not diagnosed her. I think that her having a mental illness does not absolve her from the responsibility of it. But I do think that a year is a bit harsh. I think that the 18K restitution, sure, but going to jail, I don't know. Okay, so with her mental state, do you think she might not grasp the gravity of what she did? Possibly. Possibly, yeah, she may not understand. But then this is where I don't know, I feel like the mom is also like a problem. I don't know. It's just something about the mom that I can't put my finger on. And if you remember the interview, I don't know if you guys saw the interview. Let me make sure this mic is... I don't know if you guys saw the interview, the initial interview, right? Before they found Carlee Russel. Did you notice that the mom did all the talking? The mom did all the talking. The dad didn't really say much, right? I kind of feel like the dad knew, like, my daughter's on some BS. I feel like the dad was like, this is not the first time we deal with something like this. Like, they've dealt with some stuff before, maybe some pathological stuff before. But I don't know. I just feel like the dad was like, I'm just here because she told me to be here. Because he barely said much. Okay, so yeah, it's possible that with her mental state, she probably doesn't grasp the gravity of what she did. But this is why your support system, the people around you, really explains, Jail time is a little harsh, but repaying the money is fair. Yeah, because keep in mind, too, there were like donations and stuff, right? You're talking about like police officers having to work overtime to search for this girl, right? And I will say one thing I did say in my previous videos is that I do feel like because this is Hoover, Alabama, I feel like, because usually the police, they don't really handle stuff like this, right? But I do feel like the Hoover Police Department, I think they did a good job. They stuck to the facts. They were fair, So yeah, you're talking about people spending overtime, resources, cadaver dogs, all those stuff, right? You have to understand, they weren't looking for Carlee Russel at first. They were looking for the baby, right? You're talking about a little white baby or something like that. It's missing that, Anyway, so yeah, I also do think jail time is harsh. Some people think that jail time is not nearly enough. Again, I'm not a lawyer, but these are 2 misdemeanors. 2. So it's not a felony. I think she should do, if I was a judge, maybe that's why I'm not a judge, but I think she should pay the restitution, and I think she should do community service. But I think she should do some kind of community service with, like, I don't know, something related to what she did, I don't know. But yeah, I feel like the police department did great. I think they handled it very swiftly. They also did not give any opinions. When they did the press conference, they stuck to the facts. They followed protocol. And I think also the reason why they did that, because they knew that it was a lot of eyes and attention on this case, So yeah, what do you all think? I forgot that I have my wine here, y'all. Hope you guys are sipping wine or something like that. Because like I said, in the East Coast over here, it's rainy. This is a red wine kind of day for me. But anyway, let's see. Okay, yeah, I read that part already, yeah. Yeah, so I think that, yeah, so we'll see what happens. They're appealing it. Let's see if the lawyers appeal the case. Maybe when the lawyers appeal the case, they'll give reasons to why they're appealing the case, and they'll give reasons to why she pled not guilty, right? So let's move on to other shenanigans of the world. Oh, don't forget to like and subscribe and all that good stuff that I'm supposed to tell you. I have my white wine. I'm great. Yes, white wine. Ooh, ooh, ooh. All right. So, y'all, can we talk about the biggest shocker in celebrity news? Cheers for if you got your drink. Cheers, cheers. Cling, cling, cling. Can we talk about the biggest shocker in celebrity news right now, which is Will and Jada? So, where do I even begin with these two? We are in this group chat that we did not ask to be a part of, okay? So as you know, Will already came out with his book, and I'm actually gonna read his book because I wanna know, there's a lot of there's a lot of mental health stuff with Will. Cheers to you. There's a lot of mental health stuff with Will, but in his book. So I'm gonna order his book. And then, so Jada now has a book called Glory, okay? And so what you do is you go on a book tour. And she revealed that her and Willard, they've been separated since what? What did Jada say? Since like 2016 or something crazy like that? What did she say specifically? I want to make sure that man, these two, they were like, I used to. Yes, so they have been separated since 2016. 7 years they've been separated, and they have kept up this facade. Now, why do you all think that? Well, number one, she's selling a book, right? Because I was going to ask, why do you guys think that she is now coming out with this information? There's always been rumors about them being swingers, right? And them having an open marriage and things like that. Why do you all think that now she's revealing it, right? A lot of people are, so we went from open marriage to separated. Maybe it's not for me to understand. Yeah, look, I think, here's what I'm thinking, right? Yes, you have to sell a book. And when you sell a book, there are things that, they take like sound bites, right? Because you have to promote this book. Okay. Also, when Jada had her entanglement, it really wasn't an entanglement. That would have been the perfect time to say, hey, we've been separated. I'm not in an entanglement. And I'm like, Jada, you let all these people bash you. You let all these people call you like a cheater and all that stuff. And y'all was separated. And there's always been rumors that Will does this thing, Jada, whatever. I mean, actually, there really hasn't been any rumors about Jada until the August Alsina stuff. So, I don't know. And have y'all gone on Jada's Instagram lately? So now she's posting this stuff about Tupac. Everybody knows that Tupac was like her first love or whatever like that. But my thing is how do you sit there and go through this red table talk with Will? I am sad that they said to stay relevant. But do they really need that to stay relevant though? This is Will and Jada. This is like the iconic couple. This is like the power couple. And honestly, I don't know why people don't like Jada like that. I can't put my finger on it, right? When the whole slap with Chris Rock happened, a lot of people blame Jada for it, but she didn't even say a word. And she just came out in an interview saying that she also thought it was a skit. Now, if I was Jada, I wouldn't have said nothing. I do think Will goes out of his way to protect you. You can also protect him. I don't think she should have said, "Oh, I'm with y'all. I thought it was a skit." No, I think what she should have just said was, it was an unfortunate incident. My husband wanted to protect me, and kind of leave it at that. But I think the fact that she basically, I feel like she kind of threw him under the bus. What do y'all think? Right? A lot of people are like, why don't you all just get divorced? I also think between the two of them, they're worth a lot of money. right? Because they don't have to stay together. They don't have minor children. All their children are well and grown, right? And so I think they're still very connected. Like, they're choosing to be together because I do think they're worth a lot of money. And Will is like, look, I don't want, if I die or I don't want somebody else is going to come and take the money. Like, we just going to keep it within us. I know they made this promise of never being a divorce, but I think it's bigger than that. I think they're worth a lot of money. Do they owe us an explanation to how they live their private lives? I don't know if they owe us an explanation, but their life has also been very public. Jada, you created a whole Red Table Talk and put your family business out there. So yeah, if you're going to put your family business out there and you're talking, the whole Red Table Talk is supposed to be like transparent and all that stuff. So, they don't owe us an explanation, but they owe us explanation because of because of the image you guys put out there. I think they like the image of them being together. Possibly because, like I said, people basically idolize them. And then, you know what? I also don't know if do y'all know if they're still a part of the Scientology religion or something? I don't know, because I'm wondering if that's a part of it. Like, their religion is also forbidding them from being divorced. I'm sorry, I don't buy we said we'll never get divorced, so we're just living separate lives, and so that's why we didn't tell anybody. I don't buy that. I think it's more to it than that. I think they're like, look, divorce is messy, divorce is expensive. We want to keep the money in the family. I think it's that too. I don't know. What y'all think? I think if you're going to make your life so public, yeah, I think it's important to, if you're keeping up a facade, let the people know. What do you guys think? But I'm going to get Jada's book. I wanted to go on so Jada is coming to, she's going on a book tour, and I wanted to go. Definitely more to it than SMA. Yeah, I feel like it's just more to it than just, we said we'll never get divorced. So yeah, I don't know. I wanted to go on her book tour with my mama, but she told me no. She don't want to be a part of the group chat. She said, take me out. But what is it about Jada that people don't like? I don't know. I can't put my finger on it. Like, she's not. I think she's also she seems very, I do think that Jada has a lot of toxic traits. Just the Red Table Talk. So they did this Red Table Talk, and Will was on it. Will, he's appeared on a lot more episodes on Red Table Talk, but it was this one situation. So now things are making sense to me, because it was this one thing where he was getting emotional. I think he was crying, and she just looked at him. She didn't hug him. She didn't comfort him. And I was like, I remember watching it in real time, like, Jada, like, give him a hug or tell him it'll be okay or rub his back or something. She just kind of like stared at him like stoic. I was like, her entitlement. What does that mean? Her entitlement. What is she entitled to? I don't get that. Her entitlement. I don't get that. I don't know. I just don't know why people like to villainize Jada. Like, I'm not like a Jada stan. I just can't wrap my finger about why people just can't stand her. Especially, again, the whole slap thing. This woman did not say a word, but somehow it ended up being her fault. I don't get that. Anyway, but I think, hey, she's selling a book, right? So this is a good soundbite for them. But people are like, oh, Will, blah, blah. Will knows, she's not relatable. She seemed very sensitive. True, yeah, that's true. She doesn't seem relatable. But you know what? She's from Baltimore. Like, I don't know. She's from the hood. Isn't that supposed to be relatable enough? I don't know. I don't know. But what I feel like Jada's being villainized and Will is being like poor victim. I think they're both equally you know, so I read a snippet that in Will's book, he basically said that he had to spend a lot of time away from the family because the family could not take him. Like Jada, his kids, all of that. So they both probably have some toxic traits, you know? I don't know. But yeah, it's just maybe it's her attitude, or I don't know, but just that when they were doing that interview with Will, and like he's still her husband, but I'm like, your husband is bawling and you're just like staring at him like nothing, like no affection, no nothing. I don't know. Anyway, let's move on with Will and Jada. But I'm going to get both their books because I think I'm really going to analyze it. You also have to understand comes from a very tough background. And maybe that's why she's the way that she is, because like I think her mom was a drug addict for several years, right? So she's hardened. That's what I want to say. She's hardened, right? Like you know, somebody was like, I don't like the way Will and Jada raised their kids. And I'm like, Jada Smith is out there feeding homeless people vegan meals, and Willow she's not drugging and stuff. She's not whoring around. So to me, and Trey seems to be doing pretty good for himself. So to me, they raised pretty good kids. Now I know, like, I think they gave their kids too much freedom, but I mean, look, the kids are doing well considering, right? I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. All right, let's move on, y'all. Okay, so if you know me, you know that I am a Housewives fan. I like the Real Housewives of Atlanta. Oh, you know what? I met Andy Cohen, by the way. I'm going to do a story time of when my husband and I went to dinner for my birthday and we met Andy Cohen. I'm going to do a story time on that. He was real cool, real chill. Anyway, so I am a Real Housewives fan. I like Real Housewives of Atlanta. I like Real Housewives of Potomac. I like Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. What else? I like Real Housewives of New Jersey. I don't do the other ones because I think the other ones are boring. I don't do Orange County. I used to watch Orange County a long time ago, but I don't know. I think the other ones are, I don't know, boring. And I wanted to watch the reboot of the New York one, but I don't have time for it. But anyway, so I don't know if you all heard Nene Leakes, right? So Nene Leakes came out with a very emotional, so she's back on YouTube. She started YouTube during her pandemic and she did not keep up with it. And I think if she really kept up with her YouTube, she could make a lot of money. She kept saying how like people were not giving her opportunities, but I really do feel like she was waiting for somebody to hand her something. Like, no, do it yourself. Like, just turn on the camera and start talking. So maybe she listened to that. But anyway, so y'all know Nene from Real Housewives of Atlanta. Her husband, Greg Leakes, died. And then soon after, or maybe there was a overlap, allegedly, she had a boyfriend. I don't even know his name, but he's the African guy. Anyway, so she did an interview. So again, this is my first live, so thanks for your patience. I wanted to play the audio of her interview, but I don't even want to do that because it might kick me out this live. So maybe next live I'll have that together. Anyway, so she did an interview on her, not an interview, she did a confessional thing on her YouTube page where she was very emotional and tearful, and she said that she's always had her husband Greg as her emergency contact, but now she doesn't have that anymore, and she has even thought about marrying again, even though the guy may not be right for her, just to have someone. I mean, my heart broke for her. She was very tearful in the YouTube channel and basically talked about how she feels alone, you know. And a lot of people, I feel like we're not, so let me say this. I don't like some of Nene's antics. I don't like how she exited or got fired from Real Housewives, either way, because I feel like she became kind of cocky and got big-headed and then thought that she was bigger than the show, okay? But one of the things that I feel like made her, that humanized her, was her relationship with Greg. And one thing I did like about Greg Leaks is that no matter who Nene was beefing with, Greg was always nice and civil towards those people. Like even Kenya Moore would say, which I love Kenya Moore, by the way. Even Kenya Moore would say, you know, no matter how often Nene and I fought, Greg was always very civil towards me, very kind towards me. And she even went to his like celebration of life or something like that, right? But my heart broke for Nene because this is like a very real thing that, you know, women go through or single women go through. Yes, for Kenya. Yes, I love Kenya Moore. Yeah, where women go through, which if you don't have somebody, right, there's that thought of, I have somebody temporarily, but should I make them a permanent person because, you know, what if I never get anybody else? Which is, it's really sad, but it's a real thing. And I do think that that's something that Black women deal with a lot. So in my line of work, I talk to a lot of Black women that feel like, so they feel like they have to be loyal to Black men, right? And so I hear a lot that the pool of available Black men is very, very, very slim, right? So if I decided that I want to be loyal to Black men, but I feel like the ratio, like I'm in the East Coast, I read something crazy, like the ratio of Black men is like, Black men to women is like, for every one Black male, there's like 12 Black women. That's insanity, right? So, you know, a lot of my clients say like, you know, I'm afraid to be alone. I'm just going to be with whoever that I'm going to be with, right? So they may put themselves in positions or put themselves in situations that may not necessarily be the healthiest for them, because there's that fear of, what if I don't find someone? I hope you guys can still hear me because this mic, I think, is going on. What if I don't find somebody, right? So when you have that thought of what if I don't find somebody, then you might be with a guy that's not the best for you, you know? Which isn't healthy. So a lot of times I'm talking to my clients about just like, you know, I've asked before, like if I'm talking to a Black woman, sometimes I was like, I'm gonna ask you a question. Okay, great, thank you. I've asked my clients, I'm gonna ask you a question, and you might hesitate, but have you thought about expanding your dating pool? And they're like, what do you mean? I was like, have you thought about expanding your dating pool to include more than just Black men? And a lot of times I get there like, oh, I don't know, right? And I was like, I know you were gonna hesitate, but I'm just asking you anyway. And you're like, I don't know, I thought about it, but I feel like, you know. So I feel like with Nene Leakes, I feel like, you know, obviously she's also a celebrity, right? So you can't be with any Joe Schmo, right? So her pool actually might be smaller. And she also said, I don't know if you all saw the Carlos King interview. She also said that she has to be with somebody that makes way more than her, right? So that might narrow her pool down a little bit more. And she's also a big personality, right? So there's a lot of different like factors that go into when she's like selecting a dating pool, right? So I think, in my personal opinion, I don't think that she took the time to grieve, right? Very shortly after, and maybe her and Greg had the conversation, because I think she hinted at the fact that towards the end of their marriage, it became an open marriage. So it sounds like Greg obviously gave her permission. No, I don't think she hinted. I just think she did make a statement saying that her and Greg Leaks had an agreement to say, we can be in this marriage. You can date whoever you want to date. I can date whoever I want to date, but just don't let it be within our circles, right? Which apparently Greg Leaks also then ended up being with one of her employees, which I think was crazy. But so I feel really bad for her because, she's lost the love of her life. She doesn't know she'll ever find the love of her life again. And now she's questioning being with somebody that's not the best for her because of the fear of being alone. So what do you guys think? And this is where sometimes I've had to talk to some of my clients about, like, what does happiness within you and accepting where you are look like, right? How do you find happiness if the potential mate might not happen, right? And sometimes that can be like a hard pill to swallow, right? How do you find joy and happiness in your life without a partner? And sometimes we have to have those difficult conversations, especially for my clients that don't want to date outside their race. And everybody has their right. Some of it is cultural, some of it is, societal pressures and things like that. It's very sad for her. I hope she doesn't settle. Same. I hope she doesn't settle either. I think she didn't give herself enough time to grieve. Yeah, I think this is where the stages of grief is showing itself, right? So what happens, unfortunately, is when you lose someone, the first few months, like, a lot of people are in your face, right? Supporting you, being there for you. And then after a while, those people sort of like fade away, right? So then all these kind of feelings are kind of coming up. Sometimes I might have people like 7, 8 months later, they're like, I thought I was doing okay. Like, what's happening? I think this is the part of grief that's now showing itself, where the reality of things are setting in. Because I don't know if you know, but like, Nene was going out a lot. Like, she was going out, she was at her little lounge thing. And then her son suffered a stroke, like the youngest one suffered a stroke. So it was a lot of things happening. And that's why we also recommend in therapy that when you have lost a close loved one, do not make any major changes in the first year, because you're really not clear-headed. So we would recommend, because sometimes people want to move. I want to move to a different state. I want to buy a new house. I want to buy a new car. We always say, do not make any major moves for the first year, because you need to give yourself time to kind of figure things out. I think she didn't give herself enough time to grieve because, she didn't want to deal with it. She didn't want to face it. And I think so he was on hospice, right? And I remember her saying that when he passed away, and that same day she was like, well, everybody's here. We might as well have a service. And they literally walked downstairs to their living room and they had the service, right? And I remember thinking like, that's interesting, right? Maybe she wanted to save time. She's like, hey, everybody's here anyway. Let's not make a double trip. But I remember when she said that, I was like, that's very interesting. That's going to show up in a different way at some point, right? So it was kind of like, okay, we did the service, done, so now the stuff is coming up. But I think bigger than Nene, my heart did like break for her, aside from the show Shenanigans. But I think aside from Nene, I think, there's a lot of women that have to deal with the reality of things, But I'm all for expanding your dating pool, because you just never know. You never know where you might find love. Some people are very like, absolutely not, which I understand, so. All right, what else? So let's move on. Oh my God, I really want to talk about this. So I don't know if you all aware of this craziness of Sergio Brown. So let me pull this up. So if you guys are not familiar with who Sergio Brown is, he is a former NFL player, right? He was living with his mom. So let me go back. Okay, so a lot of what she was doing, I think, was her coping mechanism. Yeah, I agree. I think like that was how she was dealing with the grief. Like, if I'm gonna go out, I'm gonna party, I'm gonna blah blah blah. I saw Nene a long time ago in Atlanta. I forgot what was. Oh, I think I was maybe on a work trip. I'm gonna get back to Sergio Brown in a second. I remember she was on a work trip, and I remember like she had on all white. She's very tall, and she had a huge personality. And that was right when Atlanta was like at its peak. She had tons of people following her. She had a huge personality. I was like, oh my God. I just remember her being very tall and like larger than life, right? Like, anyway. Yeah, so Sergio Brown. Oh my God. So this is crazy. So former NFL player, was living with the mom, right? And then his 73-year-old mom, oh, she was 73, oh my God. So 73-year-old mother, this is from CNN, 73-year-old mother Myrtle Brown's body was discovered in a creek on September 16th. This is at the back of their house. Sergio, who traveled to Mexico, they said he was in Mexico talking about like rambling about fake news, claiming that his mom was on vacation. This is where I was like, something's off. So they literally found your mom's body and you are in Mexico talking about fake news and then your mom's on vacation. I'm like, CTE much? But you can't really see if somebody has CTE until they're dead, right? An autopsy and stuff, right? So crazy. Anyway, so yeah, so the mom's body was found, and then where did they live? I forgot where it was. Chicago. They live in Chicago, yeah. And so he was in Mexico. And I was like, what is he doing in Mexico, right? Anyway, so they snagged him up, right? So he was arrested, and they said that he caused a huge, oh my God, look at his mugshot. His mugshot is scary. He's like smiling. He looks like he's been through it. He's smiling in his mugshot. I have a thing with people that smile in their mugshots. I'm like, I don't know. I feel like there's a disconnect. I don't know. Anyway, clearly something's going on with him. But anyway, it said he created a disturbance on an extradition flight transporting him from Mexico City to Tijuana, which prompted the pilot to threaten to remove him from the plane. So they snatched him up from Mexico, put him on the plane, and he is cutting up on this plane. Interesting. Oh, look at the mom. She looks so sweet. Oh my God. She looks so sweet, the mom. That is so crazy. I'm sure he put the mom through it, because I'm sure she knew he had some mental health stuff, right? It says the family says it is grateful for the outpouring of support as they seek justice for Myrtle Brown. Can you imagine your own mother? Her other son, Nick Brown, told CNN last month that his mother left him with a piece of wisdom that has become invaluable after her death. You should watch the video. It's crazy. Which video? The video of the him on the plane? Is that what you're talking about? He said, Mom always told me tough times don't last. And our last conversation about tough times being temporary is my beacon of hope. Oh. And he says, Mom, thank you for being strong, diligent, fancy, funny, and for saving my art. I won't let you down. Oh, yeah, I didn't see that one. I didn't see the video. I can imagine that. I just read about it. I know he was cutting up. So, like, CTE is a real thing, and I feel like they are not taking this seriously. It says, Sergio Brown, who was only 35, has been retired from professional football for several years. See, y'all, this is why, like, I do not want my child to play football, because it's like flag football, sure, but you have to understand the brain is a very fragile thing. You've got these big old men just like bam, bam, bam. Like the brain is not equipped to handle such impact. Did y'all watch the movie with Will Smith about the doctor, the Nigerian doctor that discovered CTE and stuff? When are we going to learn? Like, I'm not going to be unrealistic and say we shouldn't have any football in the US, but like, I don't know. I think they've done like stuff like equipments and stuff, for the helmets, but still, I don't know. I think that was a good movie, right? Yeah, I watched it a long time ago. That was a really good movie. I don't know. I think maybe because I'm not like a huge football fan, but I think they need to do away with the impact. I don't know. Like, I know a football fan will look at me like I'm crazy, but like, how can we've seen this in other players, especially that guy, the other football player, Aaron, whatever. Like, the studies is there, the evidence is there, the data is there, the like everything is there. Like, I know like the NFL has made some rules, but I think, I don't know, they need to cut that whole thing out. I don't know. Don't get me lying. Anyway, like, I know, but rest in peace to the mom. She looks like a very beautiful lady. I feel so bad. I'm really gonna follow this case because I wonder how his lawyers are gonna make a case for his for this. Obviously, somebody sent me a message saying, I don't think everything's a mental illness. And I think, like, she said, therapists do a poor job diagnosing people and we blame everything on mental health. I'm like, look, I hear you and I understand what you're saying, but like, stuff like this, do you really think a guy in his right mind is gonna kill his mom? Anyway, all right, y'all, let's move on. This world is insanity. I don't know. So would y'all, okay, so last story. So would y'all live in space? Because according to People magazine, they are, by 2024, that's like next year, they are going to be building homes in space, y'all. I mean, is the world, listen, I'm okay living in space because this world is a mess. This world is a mess. So it says NASA plans to land humans on the moon for a second time in history. And it says, after initial round of funding from NASA in 2020, Icon, which is a company, announced in 2022 that it had secured an additional $60 million for a construction system that could be used in outer space. So they have also been tapped to dream up designs and concepts for lunar homes. First of all, where is our country finding 60 million from? Okay, where is our country finding 60 million to build homes in space? But listen, if I can afford it, yeah, I'll put I'll live on space because the world, the world is insanity. But yeah, what do y'all think? Would y'all live on space? Nope, I like my foot planted on planet Earth. I would do it, but you know, I think like we have a look, before we spend 60 million to live on, to build homes in space, let's deal with the homeless population that we got going on, the lack of housing and all that stuff. Like, let's leave space alone, you know. Anyway, okay, so it's going on 15 minutes. I'm gonna end this live because I'm tired and I'm hungry, so I'm gonna get something to eat. So y'all, don't forget to like and subscribe. This is my first live, so thank you so much. Again, I'm hoping to do a live maybe like once every other week. I'm just gonna slowly plant my feet in this YouTube pool. So so I actually have some really good interviews coming up. I am going to be doing an interview with Kelsey Harris, who is a social worker. We're going to be talking about uncovering your childhood trauma. She is a PTSD social worker, and she works with people on dealing with childhood trauma. So that's a very, very good interview that I'm looking forward to. And then I'm also having another interview coming up with she's a maternal health therapist. Her name is Catherine Hensley, and we're going to be talking about dealing with birth trauma, pregnancy loss. So those are going to be some really good interviews. So you can find me on Instagram at MyTherapistPamSays. Obviously, I'm on YouTube as well. And yeah, thank you for joining my live. Bye.